This is the way traditional music theory courses teach how to build the triads on a diatonic scale. One triad is built on each degree of the scale, lowest of the three notes being the note that the chord is named after. Adding the note a third above, minor or major third, whichever happens to be in the key, and again adding a third on top the same way. Let's now introduce a different way of generating every possible triad in the diatonic scale. Why? Because this method simply does not help you in making good voice leading. Good voice leading means your listener hears the voices, in case of triads it's three voices, and is able to follow which voice sings what melody. Now if you play root positions, a change from C to A minor chord puzzles the ear. The composer thinks all three voices leap up a sixth, but the listener,
I hear a voice sing G to A.
and for the other two voices, they may come up with versions. The song will need another round of hard composition work, substituting the triads with their respective inversions. What's that in the background? What do you think? Write me a comment below. Let's start something new. Here I drew 7 fields in a circle, more or less. Let's start arranging the diatonic triads in those. I begin in the top left corner, but it doesn't really matter. Since we are constructing the circle of thirds, we will step a third up as we go to the next field clockwise. Not the direction would matter more. What matters though is that this circle covers major keys. All major keys, but no minor. So here's 3. Oh yeah, in some keys the third degree is called sharp 3, but it's still the third degree of the scale. So we use a notation deprived of any flats or sharps. As this phase, we don't focus on how to play the piece on the piano, black or white keys, or how to write it in the staff. Being generic is more of value now. Let's continue. Next up, 5. In case you are surprised, yes, I am aware that these are different intervals, a major and a minor third. But the circle of thirds is built on the degrees of the diatonic scale, not the chromatic one. So one step here means either a semitone or a whole, depending on the position. So we can move on to the 7, then 2. Why 2? Our scale ends at 7. A new octave starts with 1, we count 7, 1, 2. And this II is Roman for 2. Here's 4, 6, and we went a full circle. Let's check if it is continuous. 6, 7, 1. This is also a third, correct. It goes round and round. In case you wonder why I used capital letters and small letters randomly, here's the explanation. Let me give you a mnemonic for that. Parse it. The second, third, and sixth letter of this phrase are vowels. The corresponding chords are minor in the major key, therefore denoted with small letters. The last letter T is an exceptional case. The corresponding triad is neither minor nor major, it's diminished. The rest is major, so capital letters. Now let's figure out the notes that these triads consist of. We could say do, mi, so, but Let's stick with numbers. It'll be easier to tell the difference between. So one chord goes 1, 3, 5. 3 chord, 3, 5, 7, then 5, 7, 9, right? Except that it's wrong. There is no ninth degree in our scale. Let's say 2 instead. It's a re. Just beep 2 fields ahead in the circle where you see Roman for 2. Now you get the idea. Let's fill out the rest. Ta-da! Now focus on the notes. So how does the circle of thirds help us in voice leading? Let me show. It's clearly visible that these neighboring chords have 2 notes in common, and even the third one is close, only 1 step away. So a move from the 1 chord to the 6 is smooth. And the other neighbor of the 1 chord also has 2 notes in common. And if you remember that there is no 8th degree, you realize that note 1 to note 7 is also doable in a single step down. Homework. Check that all the neighboring chords in the chart have the same exact relationship. That was it about major. Finally, have another look at the Roman numeral chart. I'm spelling out the minor and major chord qualities real quick. This will be the color of the minor chart. The qualities stay where they are. The numbers shift. I put the tonic where the 6th chord of the major chart used to be. Fill out the whole chart clockwise in third steps. And that's your minor chart. As for the mnemonic, it is slightly different for minor too. Writing a song about pouring rain should definitely go minor, right? Use the phrase, it pours. Vowels are again at positions where you have minor triads, 1, 4, 5. T, which is now a 2, is still diminished. What else do mnemonics hold for you? You may want to decode little 3-letter words and use those as names for triads. Minor scale triads would be
Ipu, pus, tus, tos, tor, your, ipper.
Since they sound funny enough, I was tempted to make this video without the Roman numerals even. But then educated musicians wouldn't understand a word you say. Let's talk about inversions. Inversions of the 1-3-5 chord are 3-5-1 and 5-1-3, the same notes in a different order. Also meaning that in the first inversion you play the 1 note an octave higher than in root position. Note that only these chords are in their root position with the funny notation. Others are inversions. And not just any inversions, these are the very inversions that will keep all your notes inside the octave that begins on the key note. As for the relation between the set of chords in major and those in minor scale, note that they pick different inversions for the same chord. If you keep playing in the octave starting at the key center, the listener may perceive it as an indication on where the key center is. Now let us round up, returning to the start. Look at the problematic C to A minor movement. Neither the staff nor the numbers reflect any relationship between these closely related chords. Compare the funny word notation with the traditional one. Funny words will clearly visualize the relationship between your C and A minor chord having P and U letters in common.